It's Thursday, September 16th, 2021, coming to you from beautiful Palm Desert, California. It's about 105 degrees out right now, finally cooling down, which hopefully we'll see temperatures under 100 degrees by this weekend, hopefully. But I wanted to make this video today, and I wanted to share some articles with you. I wanted to think out loud a little bit. Please comment down below. Love to know your thoughts on all of this. But I want to start with this. California is done. This governor will remain governor, and in doing so, we will see the continued wrath of economic destruction take place here in California. And what does that mean? It means a lot of people, a lot of businesses are going to be leaving. Now, many of you know I've been looking the past last year at Texas, Arizona as alternatives to move to. And recently I've been really spending some time looking at Kentucky, and I plan on taking a trip out to Kentucky in the near future. And if you are a real estate agent in Eastern Kentucky, or you know a good agent in Eastern Kentucky, please have them or her contact me. I would really appreciate that. The state of California is done. How many people, and I'm not going to get political, but after this recall attempt, how many people just sat down, husband and wives, families, and just said, hey, we're getting out of here? And that doesn't mean people are going to leave today or tomorrow or next week or next month, but people are going to make plans. You're going to begin to see an exodus out of California 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. People are going to be selling properties. They're going to be packing up. They're going to be taking their businesses out of this state. They're going to take their money out of this state. They're going to take their families out of this state. And we're going to see a huge exodus in the next 24 months out of California, without a doubt. This state is imploding, and it's so sad to see. It's a real tragedy to see the most beautiful state in America collapse, implode, to see the homeless epidemic here, to see people sleeping along the side of freeways, to see all the trash along the side of the freeways, to see San Francisco and Los Angeles, these once beautiful cities, absolutely flooded with homeless people who are not really getting any help whatsoever. To see the disaster and the suffering of small business here in the state of California and nobody getting help. California is done. It's over. It really is. And I know there's diehards out there that'll say, oh no, it's the best. You don't know what you're talking about. No, I do. And that's why I'm leaving. And, even the people in Silicon Valley, even people in Hollywood, they're even getting out. They can't even take it any longer. So I'm getting out. And again, if you're a real estate agent, if you know a really good real estate agent in Eastern Kentucky, please have them reach out to me, because I plan on taking a trip out there and getting out of here. Even out here where I live, it's getting just oversaturated with people, trash, homeless, vacant buildings. And I mean, yeah, it looks nice, on the golf course, and, the gated communities, they look nice. But what is this state going to look like 5 years from now when more business leaves, when more people leave? That tax money just packs up and goes. They want to tax you to death here in California. The wealth will leave. They'll pack up their businesses, they'll pack up their money, and they'll go. They're going to go to Arizona. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to go to Kentucky. They're going to go to Tennessee. They're going to go to Texas. They're going to go wherever they want to go. They're just not going to be here. So I can't imagine what this is going to look like 5 years from now. I guess that there'll still be some people in Newport Beach and Laguna Beach and some people left here in Palm Desert, but everything in between, it's going to look like Mad Max. The trash piling up on the freeways, the homeless people everywhere, the stores closing up everywhere, the vacant office buildings everywhere. And where are the jobs? There's no jobs. The jobs are going to other states where they're paying less taxes or have no state income tax. So it's reality, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad. It's a sad truth. It's a sad state of affairs right now, and it's going to get much worse for the state of California. The economic wrath that is going to take place here, people have had enough, and this is why they're already leaving. This is why they've been leaving, and this is why we're going to see a mass exodus out of the state of California into other states. So let me know if you know anybody in Eastern Kentucky, because that's where I think I'm going. So I want to share a little bit of news with you today. Dow Jones closed slightly down, dollar up. All this with this health crisis, with the job crisis. We just got the jobless numbers today. First time jobless claims for last week came in this morning at 332,000. 332,000 Americans file first-time jobless claims, and the market is down a little bit. This market should have absolutely collapsed on the news I'm sharing with you today. We have a health crisis, ladies and gentlemen. You can believe it, you don't have to believe it, but whatever the case may be, they're saying we have a health crisis. So you would think that the markets wouldn't be too comfortable with a health crisis. We have obviously a job crisis where we are bleeding over 300,000 jobs a week for a year and a half. Unbelievable. Retail sales posts surprise gain, 0.7% in August. They did expect 0.8%, but not a huge gain. And remember, some of that stimulus money is wearing off. Some people still using some of the leftover benefit money, unemployment money. All of it's running out, and many people now reverting back to the credit cards too. Millions more Americans fell into poverty in 2020 as health crisis lockdowns wrecked the U.S. economy, consensus report shows. 3.3 million more people fell into poverty during the lockdown. 37.4 million Americans live below the poverty line here. That's 11.4% of the American population. Think about that. Almost 40 million people in America, the so-called wealthiest nation on planet Earth, are living in or under the poverty line. Median household income dropped 2.9%. It's now sitting at $67.5 thousand for median household income. And when you look at the average median price of a home now, close to $400,000, I don't get how people are doing it. The average price of a new car, $41,000. How in the world are people doing this? How about this? This one comes from, I believe this is the Washington Post. $3,586,456 million federal tax collection set record through August. One thing that's not going to go down is taxes. Taxation in America is going to put a lot of people in the poorhouse. It is going to create a lot more poverty here in America without a doubt. $1,829,589 million in individual income taxes in the September through August period. Inflation going to go up, taxes going to go up. Your purchasing power and your standard of living going to go way down. Global debt hits record $300 trillion. Up $36 trillion since the health crisis. So we have acquired $36 trillion more of global debt over the last year and a half. And there's people out there saying, don't worry, don't panic, nothing's going to happen. We can print money, nothing's going to happen, everything's going to be fine. We are all now beginning to know that that's a lie. We know that this isn't transitory. We know that there are now repercussions to printing money, to creating dollar bills out of thin air, because you're seeing it every day at the store, and more people are going to go into poverty. CNBC today, impulse spending is an issue for many consumers. Half of the people surveyed said they knew that they are overspending. They know that they're overspending, but they cannot stop. There's this addiction in America. The Fed can't stop spending, the government can't stop spending, and the average consumer cannot stop spending. Credit card debt is climbing, and now that all these benefits are ending, as the unemployment checks come to an end, as stimulus has ended, what are people going to resort to? They're going back to the credit cards. Credit card debt now approaching $1 trillion. And if they're not using credit cards to acquire more debt, they're using payday loans. How about this? Payday lenders lick their chops in anticipation of new loan surge. This is on the Business Wire. People are going to have to go to payday loans to pay the car payments, to pay for groceries, to pay the rent. The gravy train's over, ladies and gentlemen. The music is coming to an end. The party is over, and people are going to resort to the worst things possible, and that's credit cards and payday loans. People will never get out of the jaws of this death trap. They are just consumed with spending. Average payday loan, 391% APR. In California, the APR is 460%. Payday loans saw a 40% decline in 2020. I wonder why, when people were getting $600 benefit checks, unemployment, they didn't have to resort to this. They were paying the credit cards down a little bit. They didn't need them. They weren't going to the payday loan offices as much. But now that's all about to change, and it's changing right now as I make this video. Principal attorney of Oakview Law Group said this: now as people scramble to find the money they need to make their payments, these lenders are licking their chops in anticipation of the surge of new business coming through the doors. I'll tell you, this is quicksand. Once you do a payday loan, whatever you do, if you're watching this, never do a payday loan. It is suicide. You are literally jumping into quicksand. You will never get out. You're going to get absolutely decimated. Do not do it. Bloomberg, priciest food since 1970s, is a big challenge for governments. If no one's working, if people run up their credit cards and those expire, and they're running up payday loans, and that runs out, what are people going to do for food? I mean, sooner or later, people are going to pay the piper, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to pay the piper, and we are getting very, very close to paying the piper. The Hedge today: world's biggest battery in California overheats. South of San Francisco, the largest of its kind, Moss Landing energy storage facility recently grew from 300 to 400 megawatts with the ability to output for 4 hours. But after a limited number of modules reached operationally unsafe temperatures on September 4th, safety mechanisms triggered sprinklers and targeted the affected modules, resulting in the facility's primary 300 megawatt section to shut off entirely. The North County Fire Protection District of Monterey County was called to the scene. As a precaution, no injuries were sustained. And I want to go on to another article, because what this all ties into is here, especially in California, they all want us to drive electric vehicles. Well, that's great. If you want to drive one, more power to you. That should be a choice. Wolfstreet.com, proposed EV tax credits equal brain dead economic policy. EVs need to beat ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines, on their own. Okay, this should be a free market. People should have the choice to drive what they want to drive. The government incentives via tax credits is pushing this electric vehicle industry. They need to compete on their own. Let the market dictate what people want to drive. Here in California, they're almost forcing you to go EV, right? Because if you have a cold air intake on your car, if you have an exhaust, you're over 92 decibels, if you have a tune on your vehicle, they can pull you over, state referee you, which means you have to see a state referee, go to a special division, which it's going to take 90 days at least to see a state referee to have your car cleared. If it is not cleared by a state referee, you cannot continue to drive it. In the meantime of that 90 days for that appointment, you cannot drive that vehicle. So if you need your car to go to work, but it's over 92 decibels and you get state refereed, you cannot drive that car until it's cleared by the state referee. It's going to take you 90 days to get an appointment to get it cleared, if it gets cleared. So they're really making people in the auto industry here, the car culture, outlaws. You look at California, the car capital of the world. Now people are outlaws because their car's too loud. It's got a tune. It's got a cold air intake. They don't like that. They want you to drive an electric vehicle. And that's fine if you want to drive an electric vehicle. I have nothing against it. But shouldn't that be a choice for you and I to drive an electric vehicle or a gas vehicle? Unbelievable. I want to talk a little bit more about electric vehicles. This comes from CNBC yesterday. GM advising some Bolt EV owners. That's a car that GM makes, small car, electric vehicle. GM advising some Bolt EV owners to park 50 feet away from other cars in case of fire. GM is recalling 140,000 of these EVs due to risk of batteries spontaneously catching on fire. Boy, doesn't that feel safe? Now, we have our air conditioning and our power going off all the time out here. And I just think, like, what if 10% of California was driving an electric vehicle? Our grids would melt down. They would blow up. We would have fires everywhere. The grid can't even handle what it has right now, let alone 10% of California is driving electric vehicles. And how about this article to tie into that? The Hedge, over 500,000 Texans without power as Nicholas threatens Louisiana with flooding. So this storm in Texas, I heard it was even as high as 700,000 people without power. But whatever it is, what if I need to plug in my car to get out and evacuate to get away from this storm, and now I don't have power. I can't plug in my electric vehicle to escape to safety. I mean, again, you should have the choice if you want to go EV or you want a combustionable engine. Wolfstreet.com, Americans expect their earnings to get whacked by red-hot inflation. Don't forget, on top of inflation, all of the taxes coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to cost you more to cool your house this summer. It's going to cost you more this winter to heat your house. Things that you spend most of your money on are going to continue to go up. And according to this article, they surveyed consumers and asked them what they see prices doing from this year to next year. Consumers expect inflation to be over 7% a year from now. They expect rent to be up 10% from a year from today to next year. Food prices next year to be up nearly 8%. Gas prices to be up 9.2% next year. They expect healthcare to be up 9.7% next year. Education to be up 7% next year. That's what the consumers that were surveyed in this article, these are their expectations. Consumers expect earnings next year to be up 2.5%. So think about your earnings going up 2.5%, but your rent going up 10%, food prices going up 8%, gas prices going up 9.2%. You get it. How in the world is the average consumer going to keep up with all of this? Ray Dalio says, if Bitcoin is really successful, regulators will kill it. Ray Dalio, the founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater and Associates, he says they have many ways to kill it. And again, we continue to see the volatility of the cryptos, and there is no doubt the central banks will clobber it when they deem it necessary. I do see volatility in gold and silver today, but I've never seen the kind of volatility in silver and gold that I see in cryptocurrencies. Remember, gold and silver has a 5,000-year track record. It has a history. It's been through economic collapses. It's been through world wars. It's been through depressions. It's been through currency collapses. It's never going to go away. So as I leave you today, all I can say is this. There is so much happening behind the scenes. There is so much happening financially right here in America. Get ready for 2022. If you are not preparing right now, you are so far behind. There are many people out there that make very similar videos telling you all the problems, but they're never telling you that you better have security, you better have water, you better have food, you better get your body in better shape, you better get your mind in better shape, and you better get your spirit in better shape. Because if you're not doing this right now, there is going to be no time to get ready when this happens. We're going to wake up. I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wake up one day and we are just not going to believe what has happened. So as I leave you today, cicadas making all the noise in the background, getting a little walk in here, soaking up a little bit of the vitamin D. I want to leave you with this. We live in a society today, right now, where people believe they can become wealthy without hard work, without real investing, without innovation, without creation. People now believing that they're going to take $50 or $100 and make $5 million. And yeah, does that happen every once in a million? Yeah, but you can do that in Vegas too. But we have a society now that believes that this is how it works, that it doesn't take hard work, it doesn't take innovation, it doesn't take creating something, it doesn't take real investing and real thought and real preparation and real hard work. No, it just takes a little luck, just doing what everybody else is doing. Buy into this Ponzi scheme and you're going to become a multimillionaire. This is where society is today, and that is extremely, extremely dangerous. And I don't see how we last as a nation or a society where people just believe they can take $50 or $100 and they're going to become multimillionaires. This country depends on innovation, inventions, manufacturing, creation, drive. not gambling on Ponzi schemes. We live in a nation now where, unfortunately, our politicians are not coming up with solving the real problems: jobs, wages. The answer is just create more debt, give people more free money, give people more free stuff, pay people to stay at home and not do anything. This seems to be the answer today. Why are we not coming up with solutions and teaching people trades, educating people? Our school systems are a disaster. They've collapsed already. It's so sickening what is happening. And the only solution that I see from the politician is we need more debt. We need to create more debt. We need to give people more money, but they're never going to get ahead. They're never going to be independent. They're never going to have a skill set. They're never going to have a trade. And as long as we continue to do that, people are going to be slaves. They're going to be debt slaves. They're not going to know how to do anything. They're not going to know how to take care of themselves. They're always going to be dependent on the system to take care of them. And that's scary. When people are dependent on the system, it's very, very scary. When you have a skill set, when you have your debts paid down, when you know how to do something, when you know how to be creative, you know how to manufacture, when you have drive, you are a much more independent person. When you can independently think for yourselves and come up with an answer, not being told the answer, not being told by the television what to believe or what to think, you are an independent human being. And it's just unbelievable how everybody now just wants to be part of the masses. I thought people wanted to be individuals. People wanted to be different. People wanted to create. People wanted to innovate and just show their talents. But now it's just easier to sit at home and do nothing and just barely scrape by. There's going to be a huge price to pay, America, for just getting by. There's going to be a huge price to pay, America, for taking the money, taking the easy way out, the temporary fix, the Band-Aid. Huge repercussions are coming because of that. There are no free lunches. The piper always gets paid. The bubbles always burst. Question is, are you one of the masses or are you an individual thinker? Are you prepared to deal with the pain that is coming? Because sooner or later, when the bubble bursts, the people that promised you everything, the free lunch, the free money, they're no longer going to be able to help you because that money isn't going to be there. It's going to be gone. The food won't be there. It will be gone. And the question is, can you now survive on your own? Probably not. The masses cannot, because they've been so dumbed down and so conditioned to believe that the system will always be there to pick them up. The Fed will ride in and fix everything. There can never be a collapse in the markets. There can never be a dollar collapse. The Fed will always fix it. What if they can't? What if they can't fix it? What are you going to do? Think about that today. God bless. I'm going to continue with my walk. I'm going to absorb a little bit more sun today. It's a beautiful day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Give God all the thanks and glory for another day of life. Talk to you soon.